A few weeks ago, I was invited to the women's retreat here at Friends Church, and as I pulled up onto the campus not knowing that this is where the retreat was going to be, my entire body was filled with goosebumps. And the reason for that is when I pulled into the parking lot 3 years ago, in one of my darkest times of my life, I was strung out behind the dumpster that is here in your guys' parking lot. And I remember nights just drinking myself and drugging myself to near-death experiences. And I would watch as this church was being built. There was a little library down at the bottom, and for some reason, it must have been because Jesus' presence was on this campus, but I felt safe when I was here. I would watch as this church was being built, not ever knowing that I would land here and that I would meet beautiful people and inherit a family, a body of believers, and that I could call my family now. When I thought I was on my last days of life, God was like, I have a bigger picture going on here. So I'm the youngest of 8 kids. Both of my parents have passed away. They passed away when I was really young. I never really got to know them. Honestly, I don't remember much of my life before the age of 9 years old. I believe it was because the pain was too much to handle. After my father died, my grandparents took us in, but as they got older and sick, they couldn't care for me or my sister anymore. We were adopted by a family that seemed normal. They gave us a home, took us on trips. They tried to give us structure, but deep down inside, I was hurting. What I really needed was healing, a kind of love that could reach the broken places inside of me. I found something that made all of that noise stop, and that was methamphetamine. At first, it felt like a relief, like peace. But that peace came with a price. The same drug that gave me a way out soon became something that trapped me. I lost everything. I lost my kids, my home, and myself. I slept in cars and places that I should have never been. I stayed in abusive relationships, and I went in and out of jail. I lied, I stole, I sold myself. I did whatever it took to numb the pain. On May 16th, 2022, I hit rock bottom, and I cried out to God. I said, I'm done. I want to go to detox. I want a new start. I didn't know what would happen, but I knew I couldn't live like this anymore. Proverbs 3:6 says, submit to him and he will make your path straight. So I did. I went to detox, then sober living. I started to go to meetings. People loved me until I could love myself. That's when I began to heal. In James 4:8, it says, come near to God and he will come near to you. Slowly, I got my kids back in my life. I celebrated 1 year clean and then 2 years clean. On September 9th of 2023, I made the biggest decision of all. I got baptized. Matthew 11:28 says, come to me, all who are weary, and I will give you rest. Now I work as a caregiver. I work at Teen Challenge Recovery Center. I go into prisons and rehab centers. I share my story. I sponsor women. I give back what was so freely given to me. I surround myself with victorious women. I go to Bible studies. Proverbs 14:12 says, there's a way that seems right, but it leads to death. I followed my own way for a long time and it nearly killed me. But now I follow Jesus, and that's where I have found life. And that kind of hope is such a comfort and a strength. I want to go tell the whole world about it. It's like if you had the cure for cancer, you would tell every cancer patient, right? So we have the cure, and his name is Jesus, the Messiah.